guys, thank you for joining me. Welcome to my channel, Queen of Diamonds. If you're new here, I hope you'll stick around. I would love to have you here. And for those of you who are returning, welcome back. Thanks for continuing to tune in and support the channel. Tonight I am here with my weekly WIP N Chat. It is going up a day later than I try to do it. I usually record it on Thursday night and put it up on Friday. This week I had to do my project kickoff video, so I'm recording it on Friday night and putting it up on Saturday. Anyway, forgive me for being a day late. Tonight for my WIP N Chat, I am working on a project from my WIP collection, and it is titled Snowy Owl from Rhinestone Goddess Creations. It is by the artist LaVanGhost. This is the original artwork. So cute. Isn't it cute? Look at those eyes. And I am just on the bottom row right here. I've done his feet, and we're gonna be on this side over here tonight. So that's where we're gonna be working. Did I show that right? Over here, yeah. Okay, this is a 55 by 55 centimeter square drill kit with 55 colors. It's really pretty, and it is very confetti heavy, super extremely time consuming, but the payoff is amazing because it's really quite pretty. All right, I'm gonna change your angle here in just a minute, but let me show you all of the accessories that I'm using for this WIP N Chat. This project, the drills I'm storing in these containers. So this is how I'm storing all the drills. There are, like I said, 55 colors, and I just knocked over some of the extra. So when I kitted this up, I thought I only had 50 colors. So there are 50 in here, and then I have 5 extra little containers off to the side. So I didn't kit it up very thoughtfully. I don't know what I was thinking, but then when I was kitting it up, I'm like, wait, this has more colors than I thought. So anyway, there you go. But that's how I'm storing the drills. I really like these little containers. They're actually really good quality. I got it off of Amazon. I'll link it in the description box of the video, as well as all of the shops with the accessories that I show you. The pen I'm using is from Lathe Customs by Design, and it's this really pretty winter pen. I can't remember where the blank came from. I want to say Unbelievable Blanks, but I'm not 100% sure. Isn't that pretty? It's got those little decorations in it that make it look snowy. And I have the single placer from Diamond Art Club on this end, and I've got the multi-placer from Diamond Art Club on this end. So that is how I have my pen. My tweezers are from Diamond Art Club also. My cover minder is a little owl from Galloways Gallery. Isn't that cute? The washi tape that I'm using is from Simply Gilded, and it's this really pretty blue with kind of stars and other decor in it. I just thought it went well with the kit. The release paper I'm using is this one called Sparkling Snowflakes from Bee's Crafty Corner, and it is cut on 4x4 inch sections, and it's just on glossy thick. Oh, matte thick. Oh, I thought it was glossy. It looks glossy, but it says matte thick on the package, so I must be mistaken. Anyway, that is the paper I'm using, the release paper. Let me show you the putty and the wax. So all of my kit essentials are stored on this cute WIP kit from Black Dahlia Diamond Art. Love this. And my putty is actually from Black Dahlia Diamond Art. It is Whispering Spruce, part of the winter collection. It smells fabulous. So that's the putty I'm using. And the wax I'm using is from PaddyWaxx or Distracted by Diamonds, and it's Winter Mittens. And then my tray is also from Black Dahlia Diamond Art. It is the Let It Snow tray. I don't know if this is still available. I'm pretty sure it is on the Etsy shop. Like I said, I'll link everything in the description box of the video. Let me show you my Trinket Tray Set from Sparkling Nana. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's the winter set. So I've got this winter trinket tray with the snowflakes in it. Isn't that pretty? And then my trash pot matches. Really pretty trash pot. And then I have my coaster. So this is what makes up a set. The trinket tray, the coaster, and the trash pot. Very pretty. Love Sparkling Nana's trinket trays. Okay. That is everything, so let me change your angle and we'll get started on the WIP N Chat. It is now Saturday. I was going to record my WIP N Chat last night, and a friend of mine called. We got on the phone, and I got so tired that when I went to record my WIP N Chat, I was just yawning and having such a hard time. So anyway, I'm recording it now. I did get 2 sections of this completed. So instead of being over here, now we're going to be in the middle of the body of the owl. It's coming along so well. All right, let me, I'm just going to double check my putty and make sure I don't need to put any more in. I think we're good. And then my wax, I'll check that too. I think I need to add a little more wax. So let me get this wax and just top it off. We just got back from taking Winnie and Fallon. Kennedy came over. I was all set up to record my WIP N Chat, and I heard a knock at my door this morning. So I went and got it, and it was Kennedy and Winnie. And Kennedy said, do you want to go with me to take Winnie on a walk in the hollow? So I said, oh, Fallon would love that. So we went to a place called the Hollow, and I'm going to put some video footage at the end, some clips of that walk. It was so nice. It was just a beautiful morning for a walk in the Hollow. There were actually quite a few people there. I was surprised. It's just this beautiful area that it's not far from where my mom and dad live in Kaysville, and everyone in Kaysville just refers to it as the Hollow. And so we took the dogs there and just had a really enjoyable time. Okay, I have to explain something about this little area right here. Just like the first 2 rows of symbols. Last night I was playing with some mica powder, and dumb Jenna, because I was so tired, I didn't realize that the mica powder was getting up under the plastic while the plastic was down here. So the mica powder, when I was cleaning up, I saw it was under the plastic, right where that plastic was, because it was before I put my release paper down. So I'm having a little bit of a glue issue right in this first little area down here, but I'm going to hope that it's not too bad. We'll go and see how it goes as I'm working. But anyway, yeah, I was messing around with mica powder, and I should have moved my canvas. I didn't even think about it. But anyway, yeah, so we took the dogs to this little area called the Hollow, and it was so pretty, just a beautiful day. And there was quite a bit of green grass. Now the trees are bare, right? Because we're still in winter. And so there wasn't anything on any of the trees, but we took Fallon to the Hollow, gosh, I want to say like 3 years ago. And it was just so beautiful. And I just got drills all over my section here. It was just so beautiful, and he really had a great time when I took him there. Kennedy and I think my other 2 girls came too. I know Kennedy and Sydney were there. I can't remember if Allie was with us, but he had such a good time. So I knew he was going to enjoy going to the Hollow again, and he did. I mean, he and Winnie both just had a blast. There's so much to smell and investigate for little dogs, you know, and we ran into some other dogs, and the dogs did really well, not, you know, fighting with the other dogs. Dang it, if I had some baby wipes, I would wipe this area right here, but I don't have any. The only wipes I have are makeup remover wipes, and that's definitely not going to work. So I'll just have to struggle through it and hope for the best. If you ever have an issue like I'm having right now where the glue is not sticky, you can use a baby wipe, and it will bring the stick back. Somehow, something about the baby wipe will make your canvas sticky again. I do have some adhesive from Diamond Art Club that I might have to bring out if I'm struggling a lot with this area, but I'm going to try not to, because I've never used the extra adhesive on a canvas, and even though it's sold by Diamond Art Club, so I know it's got to, you know, be somewhat good quality and easy to use, I don't know that I want to experiment with it today. I am, however, going to be using that when I do the parade one of these times, because I'm having really big issues with glue on the parade, my Winnie the Pooh, and I've got to start really working on that. So this month at some point, and probably next time I work on the parade, I will make a video about using the adhesive for the first time, so you can kind of see what my experience is for the first time with the Diamond Art Club adhesive. I don't want to struggle through that whole canvas. It's my biggest canvas that I've ever kitted up. So definitely don't want to be dealing with the glue issue the whole time. let's see. Yeah, so we went to the hollow with the dogs this morning. It was me, Kennedy, and Sydney. And it was just such a beautiful walk. And we all really had a great time. We wore the dogs completely out. We didn't make it to the end of the hollow because Kennedy was getting really worn out. Winnie was getting to the point where he didn't want to walk anymore. So, and Sydney has work. So she was starting to get a little bit stressed about work. She had plenty of time, but Sydney is my kid that's really a worrier. And so she was like, I need to get back so I can get ready for work. And Kennedy said, well, it's not going to take you that long to get ready for work. She doesn't work till 3, but she's my worrier. So she was really concerned about not being ready on time for work. So we stopped and got a bite to eat on our way back. And I went and took Kennedy home, and then she told me I could just take her car because I've got to go over to my parents' house later today and film my month in review, and all of my canvases are over there with the exception of obviously Snowy Owl is here. But yeah, so we had a really good morning. It felt good to be out in the nature. I just love nature. So that brings me to my next thing. So before I get into that, I just wanted to give you an update on everybody. Everyone's doing really good. It was a really low-key week as far as everyone and how they're doing. The girls are my 2 girls that live here, Allie and Sydney. I forget that some people might be watching this for the first time. Allie and Sydney are doing really good. Sydney's just doing work in school. They've been working her a lot, especially on the weekends. And today she got her schedule for next week. And she said, I'm working Friday and Saturday again. And usually what they do with her work is they'll work her a Friday and Saturday one weekend, and then the next weekend they'll just work her either Friday or Saturday. And then they kind of alternate it. Well, lately she's been working Friday and Saturday every weekend. And, you know, she's just like, I'd like to have one night off on my weekend. She does get Sundays, but, you know, you can't go out late on Sundays with your friends and stuff. So she's been working a lot, and they've been scheduling her on Mondays, which is really abnormal. Hasn't worked on Mondays since she started that job months ago. They usually give her, they usually do Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are the days that they usually schedule her. So I don't know why they're scheduling her on Mondays now, but it's good for her paycheck and her tips. You know, she makes good money, but I don't know what they're doing scheduling her all of a sudden on Mondays. And I said, are they low on busters right now? And she said, no, nothing's really changed. So I don't know. They must have just made some changes to their schedule. But yeah, she's been working Monday, Friday, and Saturday the past few weeks instead of her usual Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But like I said, it's good for her checks, and I'm sure she's always happy when that check hits. Allie's doing good. She has not been in school, so she's on a break from school because she got her IT certification. I think I mentioned that in one of my WIP N Chats. She got that a couple weeks ago. So she passed all the tests and got certified officially for IT, and now she is going to be starting some cybersecurity courses, which she's really excited about. But right now she's just working and spending time with her boyfriend. And then Kennedy's doing really good. She started her job this week, and it's actually a really good company. I'm really excited for her because this is a company she found out about because Joel's sisters work for this company. And they love it because they can work from home. They work remote, so they're able to be home with their kids. And Kennedy was like really wanting something remote, but those jobs are not easy to come by. So she was really happy to find out about this job, and she started on Monday. She has a 2-week training. So she has completed 1 week of training, and next week will be her 2nd week. But I asked her how it was going on like the 2nd day, and she said, Mom, I really love this company. They seem really great. And she gets all the benefits of a regular job. It's full-time, and she gets to be at home and work remote, which is perfect. And it's actually a Utah-based company, but they have other states that they cover too. I want to say, I know Alabama is one of the states that they cover, and I think they cover, I want to say Pennsylvania. I think I asked her when we were on our hollow walk, so I think that's on video. So that will be in the video. But it's a pest control company. So like I say, they're based here and they cover all of Utah, but they do cover some other states too. I think there were like 4 or 5 different states that they cover. So she's really so excited. And they put her with a team. So everybody is assigned a team, and they, you know, they work directly with their team and take incoming calls for appointments for the pest control. I can't tell what that symbol is because of the mica powder. It's a 5. Yeah, so she's happy. She's doing that. I volunteered to take on Winnie every day while I'm at work, because on the days that my aunt is pretty mellow, which is most days, you know, knock on wood, it's about, I want to say 75% of the time my aunt's pretty low key. And, you know, that's how I'm able to diamond paint while I'm at work. But Kennedy was going to put Winnie in the kennel and then take him out of the kennel on her breaks and stuff to go potty and her lunch and everything, because she's given 2 15-minute breaks and 1 half-an-hour break. But I said, no, I don't want to put that dog in the kennel all day. So I've been watching him while she's on her training call. And because she's doing a remote training as well, it's like a Zoom or Google Meet or one of those. I'm not sure what they're using, but oh, let me tell you, he is a handful. It's not that I don't mind watching him, or I wouldn't have volunteered. And I can't complain too much, because I did say, no, I don't want to put him in the kennel all day. But he is a handful. He's a lot. He is like a toddler. And he's on a leash all the time. So he's already accustomed to being on a leash. But even on a leash, he's a lot to handle. And I love him to death, though. He's such a sweetheart. But to get his energy out, what I did was I took him for runs every day. So I would get to my schedule is, I tried to establish a really good routine with him this week, being the first week that I had him. So I get to work and put him in his kennel for half an hour while I'm showering Sid, and getting her up and getting her to the breakfast table. And then after I get her breakfast and get her situated, I go down and get Winnie out. So my aunt takes about a half an hour in the mornings. Then I go and get Winnie out of his kennel and take him directly outside and give him some freedom to run around the yard and everything. And then I go back in, finish taking care of my aunt, get her situated. My aunt does activities in the mornings, and then after her activities, and when I mean activities, for those of you who might be watching me for the first time, what I mean by activities are like puzzles, word searches. She has some activities that I found on Amazon when I looked for activities for dementia patients, because even though my aunt doesn't have dementia, her symptoms are like dementia patients. So I got some really cool activities for her off of Amazon. Some of them I rotate through her activities. She has about 30 different activities that I rotate through. And so once I get her situated with an activity, you know, and I have Winnie with me while I'm doing that, then I generally take him for a little walk in the mornings, and then he has a nap, and then we that's when we, after my aunt gets downstairs to either take her nap or watch a movie, then that's when I was taking him for a run. So it's early afternoon, like about, oh my gosh, I just picked up some, I am having some really bad issues right in that little area right there, because there was a lot of mica powder in that area. Dang it. I really don't want to have to use that adhesive, but I might have to. I might just have to. I was trying not to, because I wanted to review a Rhinestone Goddess Creations canvas without any interference from external things. And so I'm going to try, because this is a me problem, it wasn't a Rhinestone Goddess problem. I'm going to try to avoid using anything if I can, but we'll see how it goes. So like I said, it's just this bottom row. So I would take Winnie after I got my aunt situated for a nap or a movie. I would take him for a run, and oh my goodness, it was nice. The first couple of days, it about killed me off. Like I thought I was going to die because I'm so out of shape. But then on day 3, I was looking forward to the run, because it's a really good stress reliever for me, right? So I enjoyed taking him on those runs. I didn't take Fallon with me simply because he's not able to keep up with Winnie's energy and when I'm running. Like I've tried running with Fallon before, and he likes to stop to take breaks, and it's hard to keep your heart rate up, right? And when I got back from the runs with Winnie, then I would take Fallon out for a little walk. And Fallon loves my mom and dad's neighborhood. Let me just tell you, my mom and dad's neighborhood is a dream come true for pets because it's a very secluded neighborhood and it's a cul-de-sac area and there's not a lot of traffic. And all of the neighbors that have pets, not all of the neighbors have them, but the ones that do have pets just let their dogs out in the neighborhood because most of the dogs in my mom and dad's neighborhood are homebodies, so they don't travel far. And there's not a lot of people that walk through my mom and dad's neighborhood. It's just kind of a really private, secluded area. Now, however, there is a man who has started walking through my mom and dad's area with 2 pit bulls on leashes. And these dogs are massive. Like I was telling Kennedy, if Winnie gets that big, holy cow, they're the biggest pit bulls I have ever seen, both of them. And he has them on a leash and he manages them really well. So it's not a problem, but it's just, he walks through, we don't know him. He's friendly and I say hi to him and stuff when I see him. But I have to keep Fallon on a leash now because I don't want Fallon running over, you know, getting into it with 2 pit bulls. So now Fallon's on a leash all the time. And it wasn't that I let him off his leash a lot. It's just every now and then I could open the front door and he'd run out in my mom and dad's yard, pee, and then come running right back, you know. Well, now I'm not so sure that's a good idea. So I keep him on a leash all the time when he goes outside now because that's the last thing I need is to have Fallon getting hurt or hurting. I mean, he would get mutilated by 2 huge pit bulls, right? But I don't know. Fallon can hold his own pretty well. He's really letting Winnie know who the alpha is of the twosome. But Fallon's been a trooper sharing me with Winston because Winston does require quite a bit of attention. And when I sit down, often Winston will come and, you know, want to get up on my, I don't put him on my lap so much, but I'll put him up on the couch next to me and he'll just lay his head on my lap because he's used to Kennedy cuddling with him all the time. He's a very cuddly dog, which is kind of cute. He's not as big as he's gonna get, right? Because he's not even full grown yet, but he's big-ish for me anyway, because I'm used to an 11-pound dog. But he's this cute little cuddly guy, and he's just a sweetheart. Like anything he does wrong, he doesn't know better. He doesn't do a lot of things wrong. I mean, he's still dealing with some training issues. I will admit that. There's no mistaking that. And I had some training blues this week while I was working with him. And I think part of the training blues, I was telling Kennedy, because she said, why is he acting out? And I said, honey, this is new to him. Like, he's not used to his mom not being around him all the time. And he's getting used to me and Fallon. And he's, you know, it's a change. Any changes for animals who have an established routine, as most of you who have pets know, it takes a toll on their little mental state. They have to get adjusted. But I think we have established a little bit of an adjustment now. We've gone through that little period of a rough patch. I say that now. And the week was really chaotic because, you know, it's a change for me as well, watching a puppy now. But I don't want to see that dog in a kennel all day. I just don't think that's, I know it's not abusive. I know. And I know some people have to do that. And no judgment to those of you who do. But if I'm there, I might as well take him out of the kennel and watch him. But he does spend a little bit of time each day in the kennel. Like I said, when my aunt's in the shower, I just don't have enough hands to handle the dog, my aunt. And, you know, Fallon is always, he's my little assistant while I'm taking care of my aunt. He's always right by me, making sure I'm doing my job right. He keeps me on task. It's so funny. You know, people who don't have pets sometimes don't understand that these little animals know what's going on. They have a very good understanding of what's supposed to be happening. And if you deter from the schedule, they sometimes will be like, wait, what's going on? You know, and Fallon is very much like that. But he was a trooper. He played a lot with Winnie and they both had a really good week. I feel like it was rough. Some of the times it was rough. It was crazy. No doubt about that, but it was fun. It was a good a good time. So Kennedy and Joel will be moving into their apartment right next door to my building in the middle of March. Actually, on St. Patrick's Day, their apartment will be available. So we'll start moving them. And I was telling the girls, we'll talk more about St. Patrick's Day as we get into March, because technically we're still in February. But I always do some fun things with the kids for St. Patrick's Day just at home. So I was telling the kids that we'd still do our St. Patrick's Day feast, and I'll talk more about that at a later time. But anyway, so yeah, we're getting ready. Kennedy has started packing up some stuff in her free time, and she's excited. She's very excited. She's ready to be in their apartment, and I'm excited for her. So that is going to be good. And Joel went and bought a couch. He FaceTimed Kennedy. I was with her. And it's a really pretty couch. He bought it used, but it's gently used, like it looks brand new. And he's storing it in the basement of the house he's living in right now. They have a lot of stuff that he has acquired and some of the things that Kennedy has acquired, and they've been storing it in that basement. I think the only thing she was saying that she really is getting nervous about needing is like plates and kitchen cookingware and utensils and stuff. So we're going to start being on the hunt for some of those items the next couple weeks. But I think other than that, they've got a bed, they've got a dresser, and their couch. I don't know. I think Joel has a TV already. Kennedy has a little TV in her room, but for their living room, they're going to want a bigger TV. So anyway, yeah, we're starting to get excited about that, and that's coming up soon. March is going to be a little bit hectic for me simply because of the move. I'm going to be helping them a lot, I'm sure, and helping them get situated into their place, but I'm looking forward to it for them. It's a new chapter of their lives that I'm so excited I get to be close by, so that's fun. And then after they get moved and situated, the next big thing is getting ready for this little baby. I can't wait. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so excited. I can't even tell you how thrilled I am. I have to try to not focus on it because it's like when you're expecting your first child, right? You're so excited, but you have to wait 9 months. And we're not down to 9 months anymore. We're almost to 4. Oh my gosh. Are we past 4? June 21st is her due date. Anyway, whatever that is, I can't think right now. But yeah, so exciting things coming this month. I'm looking forward to some of that. And then in April, we're going to start planning her shower in March, but the shower will probably actually be in, picked up that same, I think that's that same drill. It doesn't want to stay down. I think in March, we'll start planning the shower because she wanted to have the shower in late April. So anyway, yeah, coming up, fun things. I'm excited. Let's see. You guys, I am so looking forward to spring. Today, being outside, and actually all week, we had a really interesting week with weather here in Utah. I don't know how many of you have the same spring season that we have. I know in different parts of our country, spring can look differently. I don't know what it's like for those of you who are outside of the United States. Like, for example, Canada, I know, has different seasons than we have at different times. So I don't know how many of you are getting ready for spring. But here in Utah, our springs are really interesting because it can be really warm one day, really cold the next day. And then it gets really warm again. Sometimes it's cold 2 or 3 days. Sometimes it's really warm 2 or 3 days. And you just never know when that warm temperature is going to stick. So there have been many times, especially when I had younger kids, that I would put away all their winter clothes because I was thinking, okay, winter's over. There's no sense fighting these drawers with all these bulky sweaters. I'm going to put all their winter clothes away and bring out all their spring clothes. Well, then all of a sudden it would get cold again and I'd have to go back into the garage, find their winter clothes, pull out their sweaters, you get the idea. But I can't tell you how many times I have done that. And it's like an ongoing battle in the spring here because you get spring fever really bad and then it gets cold again. And it's been known to snow here in the spring. I mean, heck, it's been known to snow in the summer. It wasn't too long ago. Well, I guess it was about, 15 years ago, something like that. We had snow on the 4th of July here. Obviously, it didn't stick or anything, but it was actually snowing on the 4th of July. That's rare, but my point is it can happen. You just never know. And where we haven't had a lot of snow this winter, I don't know what kind of spring we're in for here. Hopefully we have a spring with a lot of rain, because we got to make up for all that moisture that we didn't get in the winter. But yeah, so I'm getting spring fever really bad. We're getting close to daylight savings. Now, this is weird. I've always, growing up and stuff, I didn't fully understand daylight savings, and I still truly don't. I was actually talking to Keith about this not too long ago, and he was explaining the whole reason why daylight savings, why we even have daylight savings. And I understand it's to save daylight. Okay, I got that. And I look forward to the springtime daylight savings. It's a harder adjustment for me than the fall daylight savings, but it is so much better because we have daylight longer, which is so nice. But yeah, so that will be on March 8th. And I think there's only like 2 or 3 states still that do daylight savings. A lot of people have abandoned the whole daylight savings. It's weird that there are only certain states that do it. If we did away with daylight savings, I would hope that we would stay with the springtime change. I don't know. I don't know how that would work. I don't know how you decide which one you do away with, but anyway. Yeah, so that's coming, and I'm excited for that because I love my springtime, because guess what that means? Summer is right around the corner, and I am a summer girl. So I'm looking forward to that, and I feel like even though we haven't had a lot of snow this winter, it has felt like the longest winter. And I think it's just because I don't like the gray and the gloom of winter. I'm a much happier person in the summertime and sunshine. And I'm looking forward to this summer a lot because Kennedy and Joel will be living here. We can use the pool, we can use the gym, you know, and we also have the baby that will be here this summer, and that's going to be extra special. So I'm looking forward to what our summer is going to look like this year. It's going to be different, right? Change is different, but oh, what a wonderful change this will be. So yeah, that's coming. And then the first day of spring is actually March 20th, I think. Let me see. I wrote it down. Yeah, March 20th is the official first day of spring. Now, like I said, in Utah, you never know if that means we're going to have spring weather going forward. I don't know. You just never know. But what do you guys look forward to in the spring? That is the question I wanted to ask. And the reason I'm asking is there are so many things that I love about spring. And what I'm curious about is, what is the first thing that you think of when you hear the word spring? I think of Easter, but I think of the springtime flowers. There are a few springtime flowers that I absolutely love. One is peonies. Oh my gosh, I love the smell of peonies. Love them. And then I also love lilacs. Lilacs remind me of my mom and my grandma. I've told the story before that my grandma had a lilac bush planted in her front yard of her house when I was a little girl. And my grandma passed away. This is my mom's mom. She passed away before I was born. And we would go over to her house to see my grandpa. And I remember that smell of lilacs, and it just reminded me of my grandparents' house when I was a really little girl. And I remember my mom telling me the story over and over again about how those lilac bushes were planted by her mom. And oh my gosh, the smell was just amazing. And I love picking the lilacs. They're just so pretty. So lilacs and peonies. And then have you guys ever seen a bleeding heart flower? Oh, those are beautiful. I don't think they have a scent. I could be wrong. I don't think bleeding hearts have a scent. They're just amazing flowers to look at. I planted some bleeding hearts. Actually, when I was married to Keith, I had a planter on our driveway that had some bleeding hearts. And, you know, my girls would always be like, why would you plant a plant in our yard that only blooms in the spring? Well, the same reason you have peonies and lilacs, because they're beautiful to look at. And I just love them. Anyway, so I don't know if every state can grow bleeding hearts. I have no idea. That's a good question also. you know, and those of you that are outside of the United States, tell me about some flowers that you love where you live, because that would be really interesting to hear about different flowers. I love fresh flowers. Joel actually gave me fresh flowers for Valentine's Day, which was so kind of him. I haven't gotten flowers for Valentine's Day for a very long time. So it was very nice of him. He handpicked my flowers and Kennedy's flowers. He doesn't like to buy flowers already bunched together. He likes to put the thought into them to actually pick them himself. And after Joel left, Kennedy said, I used to think that Joel just did that to be cheap, but I actually really like the fact that he does that. And I said, Ken, I think it's so thoughtful. I really like that he does that for her. When they were dating, he used to bring her fresh flowers like that all the time. Now he goes to a floral place to get the flowers. He just likes to pick them out and put them all together. And he actually does a really good job. Like, he's pretty good at putting the flowers together. Anyway, let's see what else is going on. I didn't see Joel much this past week, actually. He came over after I was gone, and I've been working, my shift changed. I don't know if I mentioned that in last week's WIP N Chat, but instead of working 8 to 4, I'm now working 9 to 5, which I'm adjusted to now. But for the first week, it was kind of an adjustment. I still look at the clock at 4 o'clock and think, oh, I still have an hour, because I'm such in a routine of getting off at 4. I mean, that's been my schedule for 4 years now. So changing to 5 has just thrown me off a little bit. It was a big change at first, but I've gotten used to it now. Fallon hasn't gotten used to it. At 4 o'clock, he's like at the door, ready to go home. And I'm like, dude, we still have an hour. And that last hour can sometimes drag, but it's okay. And Kennedy works 9 to 5 also on her training, and her schedule will probably stay the same, I do believe. So she'll be working 9 to 5 too, which works out perfectly for me helping her out with Winnie. Now, when she moves into her apartment, Winnie won't have to be in a kennel because it's their apartment. The reason he either has to be on a leash or in a kennel right now is because this isn't my, this is my parents' house, and out of respect for them, she keeps him on a leash or in his kennel. So anyway, hopefully when she moves into the apartment, that will be a little bit easier for her to not have him on a leash all the time. But let's see. Yeah, so it made for a really entertaining week doing that with Winnie. Kennedy, as far as the pregnancy goes, is doing really well. She's actually feeling really good. She's getting in her nesting phase, which is amazing timing because she's going to be moving. So I've noticed that she's doing a lot of organizing and spring cleaning, and I remember those days of the part of the pregnancy where you start going through the nesting phase. I don't think she even knew what that was. I was telling her the other day, and she's like, I don't think that's what I'm doing. And I said, I do. I totally think that's what you're doing. Anyway, so then she said, well, maybe. But it's fun being a part of her pregnancy. I've really enjoyed watching her go through all the phases of pregnancy. It's fun. Little baby Juno. Can't wait to get that little guy here. I'm doing good. I actually felt really good all week. I think getting outside and getting some fresh air has been really good for my mental health. It's really helped me have some clarity. I had some really stressful things happen that I won't get into, and it's not that I handled them perfectly. I won't say that, but I handled them better than I thought I would have under normal circumstances, and it's because I went for a walk. I had to get out and go for a walk, and a couple of weeks ago I wouldn't have done that. I would have just done my normal freak out over the situation. And so it's helped to get outside and have some fresh air, going for a walk. I had something happen on Friday that really threw me off, and I just went out for a walk. I walked about 20 minutes and came back in, and my head was clear and I was able to handle it. Now, can you always do that? No, obviously that's not always possible, but it does help for me anyway, for my personality type, to take a step back. When I used to go to therapy after Keith and I divorced, and I was in constant therapy for about a year, one of the things the therapist really tried to express to me and teach me to do was to take a step back from a stressful situation and take a walk, or just go in your room, listen to some music, in my case, diamond paint for a little while. Sometimes it helps if I don't have anything on at all while I diamond paint. I just sit here in my thoughts and think. And it really gives me a chance to get some clarity before I go back to the situation to handle it a little bit better than I would have had I not taken a time out. So as my girls have grown up, I've always called it a mommy timeout. So if I'm feeling stressed, I'll say, I need to go have a mommy timeout. And I'll put myself in my room, not always in my diamond painting. I started doing the mommy timeouts before I even diamond painted. This was like 9 years ago that I started doing these mommy timeouts. But it just helps me to have a break before I go and handle a situation. So that's helpful for me. Anyway, so yeah, it helped me just have a little bit of mental clarity. I don't know if it'll be that way all the time, but it helped this past week. Maybe it will. I usually took Fallon with me and gave him a little bit of a breather from Winnie, and he really seemed to respond well to that. But yeah, you know, sometimes therapy is holding your pet, you know, giving yourself a timeout by holding your therapy pet. I pulled up some more drills, so sorry about the pause in my speaking. I had to remember where those came from. But that's why pets are really good therapy. Sometimes it helps to just go sit down and pet them and, you know, let them help your mental state. Animals are great for that. Mine do. You know, sometimes it's my guinea pigs. Most of the time it's Fallon. But if I'm stressed, yeah, I'll handle my pets and it calms me down a little bit. Sometimes listening to music can help calm you down. I'm trying to figure out how to help my mom calm down. She needs something to help her relax. She gets a lot of anxiety and she gets really amped up. She doesn't think she does, but the rest of us are like, yeah, you do. And I'm trying to find a way for her to relax. It's hard for my mom, right? She has her hands full between my dad and my aunt. And sure, I'm there 40 hours a week, but she does the night times and the weekends. So she has a lot on her plate. It's even more reason, though, that's what I was telling her, that's even more reason for her to find a way to relax. And, you know, she said, you want me to diamond paint? No, I want you to find something that works for you. I don't think my mom would enjoy diamond painting. I don't think she has the patience for it. But I think she would enjoy something that would be hands-on, some kind of craft or activity. My mom has never been, and I don't mean this as an insult towards my mom, she's never been a crafty person. She just doesn't enjoy crafts. But there are other ways to relax that doesn't have to involve crafts, other hobbies. She actually mentioned, maybe I'll start walking. I think that would be really great for her. She hasn't started doing it yet, but I think going for a walk, especially while I'm there, she has the perfect opportunity to go, you know, walk around her neighborhood. She has such a cute neighborhood. I love my mom's neighborhood so much. So I was going to tell you, in my mom and dad's neighborhood, every morning when I get there, there is one of her neighbors that has these two big golden doodles. They're beautiful dogs. Fallon used to be terrified of them, but he has become very well acquainted with them over the course of, my parents have lived there 6 years, I think. And Fallon loves those dogs. He'll run over to him and say hi to him. Winnie, however, he's not real excited about those dogs. He still hasn't gotten to know them well. And Winnie sees another dog and instantly is frightened. You know, he's a puppy. And so this past week, while I had Winnie outside, my mom's neighbor brought her dogs out and she does not put them on a leash. They're very well trained, though. In fact, I think they have collars where she can push a button and the collars somehow alert them to come back. And so but she doesn't even have to use that button very often. I hardly ever see her with the remote control. But she has those dogs really well trained and they listen to her. Doesn't matter what they're doing. I see the pros and cons of not having a dog on a leash, but when she's out there doing yard work and there's not a lot of foot traffic in the neighborhood, I understand why she does. But anyway, so her dogs usually stick right in their own yard, but they see Fallon and they instantly want to come over and say hi to him. Well, Winnie is just like, whoa, you guys are big dogs. What are you doing over here? You know, so he got some stranger danger going on, but he's getting to know them. And it was fun because I think it was Friday when I took Winnie out, her dogs came trotting over and Winnie just sat down and let them sniff him and he wasn't hyper freaked out about it. So he's getting to know them a little better. And my mom's neighbor was are they okay? Is he okay with them? And I said, he's getting to know him. It's fine. And, you know, the first couple times he was terrified. He came running over to me and jumped like he wanted me to pick him up. Dude's getting a little big to be held at this point. So anyway, he's a cute dog, and we just had a really fun week, but it was busy. It was a busy week. I was exhausted all week, every day when I got home, but he's getting more acquainted with the situation now. So I'm hoping, knock on wood, hopefully next week won't be quite as exhausting for all of us. You know, it's a lot for Winnie too. But anyway, so yeah, it was pretty busy and chaotic. My mom and dad and Sid are doing really good. They're all staying very healthy and doing well. My dad had a cardiology appointment this past week, and the cardiologist said that he's doing really well. He saw another cardiologist. I'm not sure why he went. One was a vascular, I think. And anyway, both results of the appointments were very positive. So that's good to hear, because we were getting really worried about his heart. But he's doing good. And then my mom, you know, other than just being stressed out, she's doing really good. Let's see. Not much else in the way of everybody and what they're doing. Tell me some of your thoughts about, well, I already asked about spring flowers, or what comes to mind when you hear the word spring. I wanted to ask how many of you are campers. How many of you start going camping in the spring? Or do you wait until it gets warmer in the summer to go camping? The reason I ask is when I was younger, my family didn't do a lot of outdoorsy activities. We did do some. My parents used to take us up into the mountains, and I don't remember, it was either for Labor Day or Memorial Day. One of those holidays, they would wake us up really early in the morning and take us up into the mountains, and my dad would cook breakfast. And it was always so fun, because after we ate and cleaned up, we would hang out and toss a frisbee around, toss a ball. And I just remember those times being really fun. We did not do that very often, but when we did, it was just a really good, really good time. Then we moved around a lot. So I think that kind of interfered with some of our traditions that we were trying to establish. I mean, my parents tried to establish some really fun traditions with us, but there was so much change and upheaval throughout my life that it was really hard to stick with any. We did stick with some, but it was really hard to stick with many family traditions, especially ones that included going up in the mountains. Even though we have mountains accessible here in Utah, it was hard to make it happen. But those were good memories. I enjoyed doing that. I was asking my kids the other day what they liked to do in the spring, and then we got on the topic of camping. It's funny because Greg, I've never been a big camper because I wasn't raised that way. I've dated different guys who got me into camping. Some of my friend groups would get me to go camping. I always enjoyed it. I love nature. I love being up in the mountains where it's quiet and pretty, and it's kind of therapeutic. Well, so I didn't really establish traditions like that with my kids. However, when I was engaged to my ex-fiance, he had a motorhome. And in the spring, we would start going on motorhome trips with his family. And it was so fun. So there were a couple of times that we went to a place called the Dunes here in Utah that have a lot of sand dunes. And he had a side-by-side. So we would tow the side-by-side in the trailer behind the motorhome. And we would go to the dunes with all of his family who had side-by-sides and motorhomes also. And it was so fun because we'd go for rides up into the dunes in these side-by-sides, and we just had a blast. And we would stop at different places and get out of the side-by-side and walk around, and it was just so beautiful. And just the views were absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to see if I know I have video footage of some of the drives we went on, and obviously I can't include him in any of those, nor do I want to, but I can put some of the scenery in at the end of the video from being on a ride in the side-by-side. It was so beautiful. I'll see if I can find some of those old videos. They're older now, so I don't know if I can locate them very easily, but anyway, we always had fun going up on those camping trips and just getting away from life. It was always so therapeutic to just leave life behind for a weekend and go have fun and blow off steam, And I don't feel like we did that a lot as a family growing up. We did do some vacations, but not, not a lot of family bonding type stuff, which is a shame, but we had so much going on in my family life. I mean, I just can't even tell you. There was constantly something going on. And so it was hard to get away and go do stuff like that. But we did other things that, that were fun. But going and camping was beautiful. It was always a good experience. I've been to Lava Hot Springs a few times. That is a local, well, it's not, I don't even know how far away Lava is from me. I want to say it's 6 or 7 hours. I could be wrong. I could be way off. But there's also Crystal Hot Springs, which is another hot springs not far from where we live. It's probably about a 30-minute drive. And I haven't been there with my kids for a really long time, actually. That would be really fun to go with them this spring and go do that. Those hot springs are beautiful and so relaxing. So relaxing. So we might have to think about doing something like that. The girls have been wanting to go do an activity. Now that it's getting warmer, I'm starting to feel more in the mood to do that. I don't like to do that in the winter. It's really hard for me to have the mental energy to go do things like that, sadly. And I think my kids are like, why? You're lame. I am. In the winter, I am lame. I will say that. But I do start getting spring fever and I want to get out and go do things. I'm going to let Fallon out of my room really quick. He's giving me the eye. There you go. Giving me the side-eye stare down where he's telling me he wants to leave the room. Anyway, so I'm so happy that we're getting out of the winter lump. Oh, I'm so relieved. And, I feel better just going and being on that walk with the girls today just made me feel so much better. I don't know what it is. I guess it's different for everybody, right? But I really feel therapeutic after I've been outside for a bit. So I would love to hear about some of the traditions that you have. I have a funny camping story. So, years ago, when I had a boyfriend who went camping a lot and he would get me out there camping, and I'm not talking glamping, like I'm talking tent camping. We had a blast going together. It would just be the two of us. And we dated for quite a while. I want to say like 3 years. And anyway, we went on this camping weekend, and his friend actually came with us on this particular weekend. So it was the three of us. And we had 2 different tents set up, one for him and one for us. And we decided we were going to go fishing. And I had never been fishing. I think when I was in grade school, I went to a fish farm, and they let us, everybody got to catch a fish. That was my extent of my fishing experience at that point. And so anyway, I was camping with these 2 guys, and they decided they wanted to go fishing. And I said, well, I've never been fishing. And my boyfriend was like, oh, I got to teach you how to fish. You got to learn how to fish. So we went fishing, and it was so fun. I had such a good experience. But here's the thing. I won't put the worm on the hook, and I won't take the fish off. So basically, the extent of my fishing is to stand there and hold the pole. But I'll tell you what, it is relaxing to be out there on the water. It's quiet, right? Because you need to be quiet so the fish will bite. And just enjoying the water and the mountain air, And anyway, my boyfriend at the time was laughing so hard because he's like, who won't bait their own hook and take the fish off after? And I said, I'm not doing it. Now, he would take the fish off for me. And then later in the day, we would clean them and cook them. And I could watch that part and not be squeamish about it. But it was the taking the fish off the hook that really bothered me. So, I won't have any part of that. But I'll watch the cleaning and help cook them. Sure, no problem. But fresh fish was so good. I think the fish we caught were rainbow trout, but they were really little rainbow trout. They weren't anything big. But oh my gosh, that was the best fish ever. It was so yummy. And so that was fun. And then Keith and I actually, when we had a boat, we took the boat to, I think is Island Park in St. George. Oh my gosh, it was beautiful. We went a couple of different times, one time with his kids and one time with mine. And when we took my kids, oh my gosh, it was just a beautiful, beautiful area. The water was so nice and warm and so beautiful. Anyway, we just had a really good time, but there were little hidden coves in Island Park. So we would park the boat and swim to shore because it wasn't very far away from where we docked the boat, or not docked it, but anchored it. And we would swim over to these little hidden coves, and the girls would just love these little coves. And some of them had waist high water that you could just wade around in the hidden cove. It was so beautiful. I loved it. I miss having a boat. I really do. We had some great times on that boat. Keith would take us out and we just had a blast. We had a wave runner also. So I love all of those activities. Of course, boating you can't start doing here until it gets a lot warmer. But I think some people probably start taking their boats out. I feel like I start seeing boats out while it's still chilly. But now is not, I mean, you couldn't do it now, I don't think. I don't know what the proper protocol is for that, but boating is always a good time. I always had this image of me retiring and having a boat, being able to go travel in a motorhome and drive around, and life would just be so relaxing. Yeah, I don't know what happened to that daydream, because I'm not at retirement age yet, but I don't even see that happening in my near future. So unfortunately, that daydream is just what it is, a daydream, but that's okay. I mean, I still have kids at home, so it's not like I could go run off and do that right now. But yeah, I don't even see that happening in the near future. Oh, sad fact, but that's where we're at. Anyway, I'm probably not going to be able to finish this section during this WIP N Chat because it is such a confetti heavy section. But isn't this owl turning out so cute? I absolutely love it. It's the cutest little guy. And just the original artwork is so cute with those eyes. I can't wait to get up to the eye area. But I'm going to work on him as much as I can this weekend. If I start feeling burnout, I'll switch to a different project. But I'm going to work on him as much as I can this weekend and see how far I can get, because wouldn't it be great if I got halfway and then I only had half left for March? I don't think, well, March is tomorrow, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get halfway. I might be able to get this row done. I have 2 more sections left of this row. So I have 8 inches left, and then I'll have the row complete. But he's just so stinking cute. I just love it. And it's such a pretty canvas. I love Rhinestone Goddess Creations. Even though it is very extremely confetti heavy, I love it. And I'll just know going forward that when I pull out a Rhinestone Goddess Creations canvas, I'm going to have to plan that it will be a long project, which is okay. I mean, the payoff is good. If the payoff's good, I don't mind a long project. But anyway, I'm going to end here. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this WIP N Chat. Stay tuned for some videos. I'm really, I have some video clips of me watching Winnie, and then I also have some video clips of our little walk that we just went on this morning in the hollow. The word left my brain for a second. Anyway, I hope you're all doing really well. Let me know in the comments what project you worked on while you were watching this. Also, let me know if you want me to do a Furbabies. I was going to ask this in my project kickoff video and I forgot. Let me know in the comments if you would be interested in having an annual every February doing a fantastic Furbabies video, not an activity like I did in February, but a video where everybody sends me pictures of their pets and I put it into a video like we did. I thought that was really fun. It did my heart happy, like it made my heart happy to see all of the pictures of everybody's pets. And I would love to do that again if there's interest out there for me to do that every February. Now, I wouldn't include a prize every February, or would I? Something I have to think about. But it would be really fun to do that, I feel like, and see everybody's Furbabies, because that can change. People can get new ones, or, you know, other people might want to participate. Anyway, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow in my month in review. Bye. It is day 1 of babysitting Winnie while Kennedy is working. She is in the office right next to me. And we got Winnie and Fallon. Fallon, hi. You say hi? I had a pep talk with Fallon this morning to let him know we would be taking care of Winnie today. And they've been getting along pretty good. I got Winnie's blanket right there, and he has to be on his leash because otherwise he'll just take off upstairs. Hi, Winston. But over here we've got a bunch of toys for him, and he's been up on the couch. We went for a walk this morning. Where's your bone? Where's your bone, Winston? Where is it? Winnie, can you say hi? Say hi to everybody. Say hi. Hello. He's so cute. Come say hi. Say hi. Say hello. See, I have a lot of energy. Huh. He's been a good boy. He's been a good boy. It is day 2 of watching Winnie while Kennedy's on the phones and I'm at work. He follows Fallon basically everywhere Fallon goes. It's so cute. Winnie, Fallon, what do you think? What do you think about this? Yeah? Hi. Win, what are you getting into over there? Come here. I'm out of breath. Winnie and I have been running. Come here. Winston, come here. I'm trying to get his energy out because he's so full of it today. And now he's getting into the creek. This is behind my parents' house. It's actually kind of fun back here. We've just been running like crazy up in that area right there. So I think I'm gonna run a few more times with him. Oh, get him worn out. Oh my gosh. We are taking the dogs for a walk in the Hollow. It is Saturday, the 28th. And the Hollow is this really pretty area that, I don't know where, I mean, it's just always been called the Hollow, right?
Yeah.
It is so pretty in this hollow. We've got this little creek that runs through. It's so pretty and green. It's like every corner we turn, there's a new pretty area.
Oh, I know. It will just keep on getting more pretty, girl. So.
The dogs are loving it.
I know. Come on, Win. Yeah. This is so fun, huh?
So much to smell and look at.
I know. Hi. Hi, yes. This is so fun.
Someone take a picture of me if I walk across that.
Anthony, don't, because listen to my scary story. One time, and I hated doing it every time. I would hate coming down here because I did not want to walk across that log. One time I was walking with my friend Cole and my friend Aaron, and I was too close behind them, and I was holding on to Aaron's back, and Aaron fell, and then I fell as well, and I fell on top of Aaron, and I gave him a black eye, and we fell in the water.
Fallon, are you loving this? It's nice, huh? Winston's enjoying it too. Well, we can go over the bridge, make a circle right around this tree, and then come back. Sal, come here.
Good job, Sally.
He wants to copy Winston. Is that cold, bud? Now your paws are all wet. Winnie, go over the bridge. Go over the bridge and come over here.
Come on, Win, let's go this way. Let's go get Mimi this way. Good boy. Well, we're not camping anymore, so.
Oh, shoot.
This is not going.
Fallon's like the bridge troll.
Hi. What's his name? His name's Winston.
Fallon, you're a mess now. Shake it off. Good boy. It's so peaceful. This is so cool.
I know. And all the birds.
Yeah. So nice and peaceful in here.
Look at Vinny's paw on the log, bro. I want to climb up on this tree and sit. Oh, my foot is getting cramped though. Oh, ouch. Hello. Ow! My foot is cramped! Look, Winnie wants to get to you. Ow!